After the break, where's the man the Tories want to replace Boris with, and a miraculous near miss after a nursery roof collapses. Tonight, the mother of the 12-year-old girl who drowned in Bournemouth reveals her final moments before getting into the water. Sunna Khan from High Wycombe seen laughing and having fun on the beach. Well, today her mum Stephanie described her absolute devastation.
I would love to go there and, be able to say thank you. That would really mean a lot to me.
Also ahead, the former co-chair of the Grenfell Town Memorial Commission is accused of carrying out a number of sex offences in the 1980s. Shocking picture of a roof after it collapsed on a nursery. Luckily, no one was injured. We're in Uxbridge asking about the man the Tories hope will replace Boris Johnson.
We're trying to find this person. He's the Conservative candidate standing here. Have you seen him around town at all?
No, I haven't.
And how Kylie and her runaway hit has made TikTok stars of these hobbycraft workers in Wimbledon. Good evening. The mother of the 12-year-old girl who drowned in a riptide in Bournemouth has opened up about her final moments on the beach. Sunna Khan from High Wycombe was one of two people who died after getting into difficulty in the water just over 2 weeks ago. Her mum Stephanie has been speaking of her heartbreak since finding out that she'd lost her daughter, and has told ITV News she now wants to meet the people who tried to save Sunna's life to thank them personally. Helen Keenan reports.
He said, "We lost Sunna," and I thought, what do you mean you've lost her? I didn't think that he meant that she died.
This is the last video they have of 12-year-old Sunna, capturing the joy she'd had that day before her life was so cruelly stolen while spending time with her family at Bournemouth Beach.
I got a call at about 7 o'clock when I was just getting ready to leave, and it was Sunna's dad, and he sounded very sort of upset, but I thought he was talking to the children when he was asking me to sit down. And then he said that she had died, and I asked what happened, and I went straight from work to Bournemouth, where I saw, I got to see her.
Sunna Khan from High Wycombe and Joe Abbas were pulled from the water last month. They were taken to hospital, but neither survived, with the coroner ruling they died of drowning. Members of the public told of a sudden riptide in the sea at the time when the two young swimmers and 8 others got into difficulty in the water. Emergency services and the public tried to help save them.
I can't imagine what it would have been like for those people to experience that firsthand. It means a lot. So I would love to go, and obviously because I wasn't there, which I find really hard, I would love to go there and be able to say thank you. That would really mean a lot to me.
There has been criticism of the police investigation about a lack of clarity from local officers, leading to speculation about the circumstances surrounding their deaths. A man aged in his 40s, previously arrested on suspicion of manslaughter, has been released under a police investigation, and the inquests have been opened and adjourned until September. What Sunna's mum wants in the meantime is a change for water safety.
This pain, I couldn't wish it on anybody, and I think something like 400 people a year die in open water, and I can't understand why it shouldn't happen, especially not on a beach where there's lifeguards and there's so many people on the beach. I don't understand how, and I think something needs to change. She was very caring, she cared about a lot of people. It's just such a shame that she's not going to become the young lady that I thought she would be.
Well, Stephanie Williams ending that report from Helen Keenan. Well, next tonight, the former head of the police watchdog and the co-chair of the Grenfell Tower Memorial Commission has been charged with the rape of a child. Michael Lockwood is accused of carrying out a number of sexual offences in the 1980s. And Mark McQuillan joins us now. So, Mark, what more do we know?
We know that Michael Lockwood has been charged with 6 counts of indecent assault and 3 of rape. The 64-year-old has held a number of senior positions in the capital, including at the Local Government Association and as boss of Harrow Council. As recently as the back end of last year, he was still in his position as head of the police watchdog, but he stood down in December after it emerged he was the subject of an investigation. The Crown Prosecution Service has had this to say in a statement. After carefully considering all of the evidence provided to us, we have authorised charges against Michael Lockwood. Mr Lockwood has been charged with 6 counts of indecent assault and 3 offences of rape against a girl under the age of 16, alleged to have been committed during the 1980s, while the police watchdog say they're aware of the charges, and as criminal proceedings are active, they're unable to comment further. And Michael Lockwood has other connections to London. Following the Grenfell Tower fire, he was asked by a government task force to liaise with bereaved families, survivors and the wider community. Mr Lockwood, once in charge of an organisation that handles serious complaints made against police, is now facing a series of allegations of sexual offences. His lawyers say he strenuously denies the allegations and he will appear in court later this month.
All right, Mark, thank you. Well, next, parents who take their children to a nursery where a roof collapsed have been telling ITV News how thankful they are their loved ones were not inside when it caved in. It happened at the Cross Harbour Montessori Day Nursery on the Isle of Dogs, just hours after everyone left for the night. Well, from there, here's our senior correspondent, Ronke Phillips.
The damage is plain to see. The entire middle section of the roof has collapsed into the nursery classrooms below. Books and desks covered in rubble at the very spot where toddlers and young children would have been playing.
The middle had started to go down and then...
It was around 9:15 last night when Roxanne Johnson, who lives directly above the nursery, was startled by a loud crash.
It was just so loud and just like an earthquake, to be honest. Yeah, it was very loud. I just thought, I thought the whole of that side had collapsed because it was so loud. It was pretty scary. I think if that had happened during the day, we'd be looking at a lot different story.
Cross Harbour Montessori Nursery is in the Isle of Dogs, close to Canary Wharf. It takes children from the adjoining estate and the local area.
Look, the nursery roof!
Parents who have an online group found out about the incident when videos were posted into the chat. Kendra Semple has 2 children at the nursery.
I was at dinner and just bing, 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 the WhatsApp group went crazy. And so, yeah, obviously the first reaction was just, thank goodness it didn't happen 3 hours earlier, because 3 hours earlier my husband was fetching them from school and I could have lost my whole family. So that was obviously the initial shock that everyone was feeling.
Council officials from Tower Hamlets were seen at the premises inspecting the damage, along with the emergency services soon after the collapse. The nursery has been closed all day, and as a safety precaution, the entrance is cordoned off. Peter Gold is a local councillor.
Two others were stabbed to death on the street. Police say 31-year-old Valdo Kalukane is also accused of 3 counts of attempted murder after a van was allegedly driven at pedestrians in the early hours of Tuesday morning. Our Millie Dowler's killer, Levi Belfield, will be allowed to marry his partner in prison while serving 2 whole life orders. The decision comes after a legal battle where Belfield made a bid for legal aid to challenge a decision to block his marriage. Now, it is a famous speakeasy bar in the heart of Soho, but tonight its future could be at risk. Trisha's has been operating in the basement of a building on Greek Street for 80 years and it's having its licence reviewed by the council following complaints about noise. Antoine Allen has the story.
Is this club's future under threat due to being a noisy neighbour? Or are they underground rule breakers? For over 80 years, New Evaristo Club, aka Trisha's on Greek Street, has been an icon in Soho's nightlife scene. But a recent complaint from a neighbour has led to an investigation that's put Trisha's licence under review. The outcome is a nervy wait for its owner.
I don't know what we'll do. We'll all have to go and get jobs. He's going to employ me nearly 90 odd.
The staff here say this speakeasy is the last of its kind in Soho.
Soho used to have a lot of dive bars like this, and this is probably the last one. You know, we went down some stairs and it was quite wonderful.
Whilst the review continues, the venue has a notice from Westminster Council on its door. Paul, when it comes to this iconic venue, is its future under threat due to noise pollution or are there other issues the public don't know about?
I'm glad you asked that, Antoine, because actually there's a lot of myth-making about what's going on here. This fundamentally isn't a problem with noise. It's a problem with public safety.
An investigation into Trisha stated there were times when the venue breached its capacity and failed to provide CCTV to the police.
And it contains this chronology.
Closure is only one of the potential outcomes for Trisha's future.
What might also happen is the conditions of the licence may be modified, the designated premises supervisor might be suspended, or the licence itself might be suspended for up to 3 months. So there's a lot of options here. Revocation of the licence being the most extreme.
Tim, is this venue the issue or are there other issues on this street? The Soho residents group say Trisha's isn't the problem with their area, but rising crime should be top of the agenda.
In the last year, there have been 250 assaults that involve grievous bodily harm, and most of that crime will be in 3 areas: Leicester Square, Greek Street and Wardour Street. And I think in that context, what we would say to the council is that they shouldn't be granting any more alcohol licences, given the link to alcohol licensed premises, until the crime issue is addressed.
Trisha's future will be decided in the upcoming weeks. Antoine Allen, ITV News.
Still to come on the programme, we've got the weekend weather plus. From broken heels to the big screen, Alexandra Burke and her co-star tell us about their new movie and... we meet the new TikTok stars who caught the eye of Kylie Minogue. But first, it was the day of his big announcement. But the new Tory candidate who will stand instead of Boris Johnson in the Uxbridge and South Ruislip by-election was nowhere to be found today. Steve Tuckwell was this lunchtime due to speak about his selection for the Conservative Party. However, silence later filled the streets. He is hoping to serve. The other parties, however, didn't miss their opportunity to be heard, as Sam Holder reports.
The last time the people of Uxbridge and South Ruislip voted, their MP became Prime Minister.
You must stay at home.
A pandemic and Partygate later, Boris Johnson has handed in his resignation and the race has begun for who will replace him. The Conservatives today announced their candidate, Steve Tuckwell. We were told he was available for interviews from midday. But when we and other broadcasters tried to actually set one up, he disappeared. So armed with a photo, I went looking for him in Uxbridge Town Centre. We're trying to find this person. He's the Conservative candidate standing here. Have you seen him around town at all?
No, I haven't. No.
Just wondering, have you seen him around town at all?
No,
anywhere?
I haven't. No.
OK, thanks.
So if you stand there, why is it difficult for you not to find him?
Well, yeah, that's what we're wondering too. No, you haven't seen him. You've been driving around Uxbridge? The Lib Dems are campaigning almost entirely on Partygate, and for their man, it's personal.
Absolutely. You know, I lost my father to COVID, who I lived with, in the very week that Johnson partied. I was unable to see him in hospital for a month beforehand, and neither were any of my siblings. I feel like I represent hundreds of thousands of families across the country who feel the same way.
The Conservatives' central policy here is opposition to ULEZ, and it's certainly a hot topic.
Most people are more infuriated with ULEZ than Partygate. That was 3 years ago. There's a lot more happened since. And as I said earlier, he's just an scapegoat for everybody's mistake.
Even after announcing his resignation, Boris Johnson is still courting controversy. He's been accused of committing a clear breach of the ministerial code by failing to clear his new job as a Daily Mail columnist with parliamentary authorities. In Uxbridge, there are plenty who still support their soon-to-be former MP. One big question here is if they'll still vote Conservative once he leaves. Sam Holder, ITV News.
A primary school in Wembley has been shortlisted for the prize of the world's best school. Barham Primary School, where 31 languages are spoken among pupils, has been recognised for building strong connections with parents, as in with the chance of winning more than £39,000. Carolyn Sim went to meet pupils and staff.
احنا مبسوطين بمدرستنا كثير. أكيد دنيانا شكرا أيا بربابة. Ale to nas nie zatrzymuje od uczenia się. Zafaczem bine. क्योंकि teachers हमको मदद करते हैं. नांगल इंदा ओलागतला सिरंदा पल्ली कुड़माई वरवम.
Being shortlisted for a global award has caused a real buzz at Barham School.
Do you think we can win it?
Yeah. It's one of only 10 in the world to reach the finals in the community collaboration category for beating language barriers and celebrating diversity.
When we were putting ourselves forward, we were thinking about the years of opportunities that we provided our children, and to capture it through this moment is exemplary for us.
I've done a lot of research with alumni, and one of them came back and he came to thank a teacher because he started year 5 with no English at all and ended up in a Russell Group university. They attribute a lot of the grounding and foundations for long life learning to what they got here.
Going well.
Many of the parents don't speak English, but with the help of multilingual teaching staff, they can fully engage in their children's education.
Even if they're unwell, they don't want to stay at home, they want to come to school.
The school describes itself as a titan. It has nearly 1,000 pupils, but speaking different languages is no big deal to them.
If a teacher wants a child to do something, she would get me and then I would translate in my language, in their language. I would tell them what the teacher would like them to do.
When I came here, I was quite scared because I didn't know English, but day by day I was learning English.
And you've learned in 2 years?
Yes. I think that the school is very special to me because I've been here from the very beginning.
Do you think this is the best school in the world?
Definitely.
If the school wins, it'll take away almost £40,000 in prize money, enriching the lives of every child here. Carolyn Sim, ITV News, Wembley.
Now, one of our guests tonight needs very little introduction when it comes to music. However, after making it big after the X Factor, Alexandra Burke is now taking the world of film by storm.
You know how many shows you do in a week if you got the job? There'd be no time for distractions.
Is there something you're not telling me here?
Hey, I didn't do nothing.
This is nothing, is it?
I need you to act like a responsible man.
The London star makes her movie debut in Pretty Red Dress. It's getting incredible reviews, and earlier she came in with her co-star Naty Jones to tell us all about it. Alexandra, Naty, so nice to see you here. Thank you for joining me. I've got to start by saying, well, congratulations on the baby. We'll get to that, Alexandra, we'll get to that. But also on the movie as well, because it's got fantastic reviews. Just a couple of magnificent, one of the best films you'll see this summer. Wow. I mean, reading that and hearing that, that's just got to make you full of pride, really.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's exciting. It is. I feel like I really have to pinch myself in this moment right now because you know, it's our first ever film.
So it's a debut for both of you.
Yeah, for both of us. So, and I couldn't have asked for a better person to work alongside. And the same with Temi, who plays our daughter, and to work with such fantastic people like Dion, who directed it, and Georgia, who produced it. Like, we've had the best time. Best time, didn't we?
Amazing.
It was great.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit more about the movie. So, Pretty Red Dress. Now, you play singer Candice. She's a mum. You play the ex. What's his name, the character?
Travis.
Travis.
We're still together.
Oh, we're still together.
We are, yes.
I don't want to give too much away. But just tell us a little bit more about the movie. Why is it called Pretty Red Dress? Because that's pretty significant, isn't it? Go on, Nathan.
So we start the film with Travis coming out of prison and being collected by his girlfriend, Candice. And then, you know, he gets reunited with his daughter. And along the journey, a pretty red dress is bought, and that dress starts to kind of unravel.
Well, it plays this kind of central role of its own, doesn't it? It does. Really. And the movie, it tackles these kind of ideas about masculinity and gender stereotypes and that kind of thing, doesn't it? Tell us a little bit more about that.
It's really powerful, and for Travis, he goes on a journey of exploring the duality of his nature, whether his femininity and his masculinity, and how he tries to explore each of them. And their struggles are on the way. You know, he has struggles with his partner and his daughter, and the wider society and their perceptions of who he should be and who he wants to become.
And apart from all that, it's a fantastic dress as well, isn't it?
It's a great dress, and that dress is going to mean something different to everyone who watches the film. And ultimately, you know, this film is really about living your authentic life and about living in a world where you can feel free and knowing that if you can be vulnerable and find the confidence to be vulnerable, there is strength within that. And you want to live an authentic life because we only live once, so why not live it to the fullest?
Well, indeed. Candice is a singer, so that suits you perfectly, doesn't it, Alexandra? You get to do everything in this, Show off all your skills, essentially.
It was just so nice to be able to sing Tina Turner's songs and to you know, embody Tina Turner in some of the scenes as well. And Tina is a massive influence within the movie with her music. It's embedded so lovely within it all, and it's just a shame that Tina is no longer with us. But
so sad. I mean, this is you performing on the X Factor. But did either of you ever get to meet Tina Turner? Because I met her once. You got to meet her.
Yes, I did. I did a Tina Turner musical in London.
And
she came to meet the cast. She was lovely. She had to be torn away from us because she spent so much time with us. She was lovely. So her impact lives on. Absolutely.
Such a loss, but such a legacy as well.
Absolutely.
Listen, talking of legacies, you've got a little bump there, haven't you?
I think it's quite massive.
This is a little bump. This is baby number 2
Baby
for
number
you.
2,
How's it all going?
Do you know,
how are you feeling?
To say, it's so difficult running after a toddler already and then having another pregnancy. So anyone that tells me this is easy, they're lying. Absolutely lying. But I am enjoying it. I'm embracing the changes. I'm embracing motherhood. You know, my partner Darren and I were very excited to have baby number 2. And it's just, I feel so blessed. I feel like I'm in a really lovely place in life.
Well, listen, you are, as a cliche goes, you are glowing.
Thank you very much.
And Nathan, so are you as well. And just a little word saying, Pretty Red Dress, I think it's out today, but it's premiering tonight at the BFI as well. So, guys, have a fantastic evening and enjoy. Thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you, darling.
Our reminder of our top story, the mother of 12-year-old Suna Khan from High Wycombe, who drowned in Bournemouth, has spoken of her devastation and how she wants to thank those who tried to save her. All right, it's time for the weather now. Here's Chris.
Feels like home, whatever the weather. Valent Boilers and Heat Pumps sponsors ITV London Weekend Weather.
Hello there. Very good evening to you. Today across the capital, once again, there has been a lot of sunshine. Strong summer sunshine getting to work has allowed temperatures to rise in the mid to high 20s once again. But as we look towards the weekend, a hot and humid weekend to come. We'll begin to see some showers pushing their way through Saturday, but most of those showers turning thundery as we head towards Sunday. Now, as we go through the rest of this evening and overnight, we've got the area of low pressure towards the west. That trundles its way eastwards as we go through the weekend. It drags in the humid air from the southwest, and we'll start to see some rather heavy thundery showers developing, particularly as we move through Sunday afternoon. For the rest of this evening and overnight, though, it's going to remain fairly quiet, actually. That humid air starting to creep its way in from the south and the west. I do suspect most of us hold on to clear skies, and we start first thing tomorrow morning with temperatures about 12 to 16 degrees. Now, fairly fine to start on Saturday, but the cloud gradually increasing from the southwest as we work through the day. 1 or 2 showers as we work through the mid-morning and into the afternoon. Some of these on the heavy side, but still with some sunny skies and feeling quite humid as well. Temperatures 25 to 26 degrees. As for Sunday, heavy thundery showers are in the forecast. Pollen's next.
Valent sponsors ITV London Weekend Weather.
Hello, summer. Piri sponsors ITV Pollen Count.
Now, as for the unsettled spells of weather pushing their way in as we work towards the weekend, and that continues into next week, pollen levels will drop from very high to high, and we're currently in the grass pollen season. Have a lovely weekend. Bye-bye.
Now, the audience at composer Hans Zimmer's concert at the O2 Arena got more than the average show last night after he brought his girlfriend up on stage for a very special announcement.
Will you marry me?
He's the mastermind behind some of the most iconic movie soundtracks, from The Lion King to Pirates of the Caribbean, and his proposal to Dina DeLuca at the Greenwich venue was definitely a movie moment. Finally tonight, they are the new TikTok stars on the block and even caught the eye of an A-list celeb. But life for workers at Hobbycraft in Wimbledon might be a little different from now on after a video they posted to Kylie Minogue's new song was picked up by the star herself. Cafe Patter went to meet them.
In an inconspicuous craft store in the suburbs of Wimbledon, 4 store workers have been emulating their favourite pop star. If you hadn't already guessed, this lot are huge fans of Kylie Minogue, even going as far as to make a TikTok from her latest single. The clip has been viewed over 600,000 times, including by the person singing in the background.
Big up Hobbycraft Wimbledon, massive. I mean, hilarious. They committed to this routine. 4 staff. This is the first time I've said it. I've talked about it with my friends, but when they hear this, you did a great job.
We're Kylie approved. We are Kylie approved.
It's been phenomenal. People are coming up to you in the streets and saying, we've seen you on TikTok. They come in the shop and they said it's fantastic, and they're following. So
a boost in TikTok followers and more people coming into the store. But what do the irregulars make of their newfound stardom?
I thought it was brilliant. Very, very funny.
And I thought it was absolutely incredible. Somebody as big as Kylie can actually recognise a TikTok that Jackie and Andrew are doing here. Is absolutely incredible. So
incredible indeed, and the group are already prepping for their next video. But before that, a throwback to their biggest hit. Cafe Patter, ITV News.
Padam to the Wimbledon Massive. Brilliant. That is it. The ITV Evening News is at 6:30 with Charlene. But for now, from all of us on the London team, bye-bye and have a great evening.